The roofing industry is broken, and we've got the fix. At Hire a Pro, we help homeowners do the same thing a roofer would do when it hails on their own house. Own the project, delegate the tasks, and keep the compensation. But you don't have to take my word for it. You could ask Chrissy. Chrissy, how'd it go?
It went great. You educated us on how everything worked, showed us behind the curtain, so to speak, and after our $25,000 roof was replaced, we walked away with almost $6,000 for the work we put in.
And what work was that?
We got the permit and we picked the color. Hire a Pro handled everything else. You did a great job, and I'm not even being paid to say that. If anyone's listening and has a storm damage claim, call them. Don't hire a roofer, hire a pro.
That's awesome. I appreciate the kind words, and I think you just made up our new motto. All right, Joe, you're up.
So if insurance has approved your roof replacement, give these guys a call at 651-402-3400 or visit them online at hirea.pro. That's hire, and then put the dot there, pro.
Hey, Garage Logic fans, Mishki here, slipping in ever so briefly to mention that I have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday and every Friday, twice a week now. The show is pretty much about everything you care about and are interested in and need in your life and want to know more about. I tailored the darn thing specifically to your liking. I tailored it to your loves, to your true passions. That took a long time. I'm spent. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely wasted.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1630, October 1st, 2025. 92 degrees was the record high on this day. That was just 2 years ago, 2023, and as chilly as 24 degrees in 1974. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
Hail you! And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner. Hi, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Two delightful nature notes. There being little else to celebrate. This is from Ed McCrae. Joe, because you are a student of the spring blooming lilac, insisting that your lilacs bloom at about the same time every year, I thought you would find this interesting. And he sent me a picture of a lilac bush located in Pengilly, Minnesota, close to Grand Rapids, on the east shore of Swan Lake. It caught my attention, wondering how this can be. It was blooming. I turned to the Google and found out that the bush will produce a late bloom if the plant is under severe stress, which this bush appeared to be. According to the article, I read this is an attempt by the plant to produce more seeds in the event it dies, ensuring that the bush lives on. Nature is amazing. Isn't that wonderful? Everything wants to live, even your lilacs.
So the answer to his question is yes.
Yes, what?
You do find it interesting.
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then the mink, for some reason, he's got himself all excited about bears, and we have a bear every year up, where is it, in Alaska, I guess. They have a fat bear contest.
I saw this.
And we have a new champion fat bear named Chunk. It comes in at about 1,200 pounds. Chunk even overcame the adversity of a broken jaw in order to become the champion fat bear of the year. And the mink notes that not only is Chunk an inspiration for all of us, but the mink wonders what this Chunk could accomplish with an intact jaw.
No doubt.
He might be a 2,000-pounder.
Wait, since he's has a broken jaw, this isn't a DEI selection since he's disadvantaged, is it?
No, Chunk, these bears, they line up and they pluck. Of course, we're running out of salmon, except during the spawning season. There appear to be quite a bit of salmon. Chunk just reaches in there, he got his share, and he's the fat bear.
But he can't chew, so it's tapioca pudding and apple pie. And
that's not unique, though, Joe. There's also a bear contest here in June at the saloon. I don't know if you knew that or not here in Minneapolis.
Which saloon?
Saloon.
The saloon?
Chris,
I know.
why do you try?
I tried. I don't know.
That just went flying right by him.
Oh, that poor old man. He didn't get it. Oh, they just all bring up that old bear, the saloon contest, and he just didn't get it.
There's no bear meat at
In
the
the
glory hole.
Oh, you know what? We got to play that.
No,
one of those
we
deals.
really don't.
Actually, no, we
really don't.
Where
have
else would I rather play
Well,
it? Wait, we got to go bear meat. And that was a story out of Alaska, was it not?
No bear meat at the glory hole.
It was, yes.
Feds uncover false marriages, fake death certificates,
Here we go.
fraudulent job reports, in immigration fraud in Minnesota. Federal officials say Joe,
Earthed?
how are you? Federal officials say they've uncovered what they call blatant fraud. Really? As opposed to what? Pretty much it's all been blatant.
That's like, it's almost like it's a scale.
It's like dengue. This is major.
Right.
Federal officials say they've uncovered what they call blatant fraud, including sham marriages, fake death certificates, forgotten or forged documents. Federal officials did this. I don't think this is Joe Thompson's crew. It's a different crew. Federal officials, okay. Federal officials with the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services, ICE, and the FBI announced the results of Operation Twin Shields, which worked to uncover immigration fraud. Authorities investigated 1,000 target cases involving 900 people in the Twin Cities. Federal officials, this story keeps repeating itself. The operation was underway between September 19 and September 28, so it just concluded. And officials say it uncovered fraud, including sham marriages, fake death certificates, forged documents, abuse of F1 and H-1B visas, and visa overstays. However, despite the wide-spanning operation, only 4 people were arrested as part of the operation, although the USCIS says it issued 42 notices to appear in immigration court. One case highlighted by federal officials involved concerns with a program called Uniting for Ukraine, helping Ukrainians flee the Russian invasion. Under the program, officials say one individual filed to sponsor more than 100 people and an organization that sponsored hundreds. Another case involved a man who admitted to obtaining a fake death certificate from Kenya for $100 to prove he was no longer married. So wait a minute. He's walking around town with a death certificate, and he's saying, see, I can't be married. I'm dead.
Wait, are you allowed to do that?
Well, how else would you read this? Another case involved a man who admitted...
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Another case involved a man who admitted to obtaining a fake death certificate from Kenya to prove he was no longer married. I can't be married. I have a death certificate.
Where does that fall for me, who wanted to fake my own death to go live with my Ukrainian mistress in Bulgaria?
What was it? The guy on the lake?
Were you the guy that tried to leave in the kayak?
In the kayak, yes, in Wisconsin.
In reality, his wife is alive.
Oh,
This is just a minute now.
Oh, boy.
In reality, his wife is alive, living here in Minneapolis, as is the mother of 5 of his children. Said Joseph Edlow, the director of, I'm going to read you the title again because we're using the acronym, the United States Citizen and Immigration Services, USCIS. In reality, his wife is alive, living here in Minneapolis, and is the mother of 5 of his children, said USCIS Director Joseph Edlow. And incidentally, he has another wife living in Sweden with whom he has an additional 3 children.
So, 3 wives and an ex-wife?
Oh, it sounds
and
like
7 kids.
No,
or 8
kids. It sounds like 2 wives, one of whom he's attempting to disprove any relationship with by claiming to be dead, even though he's standing there holding the document. The operation in the Twin Cities is something USCIS expects to expand nationally, but officials said red flags led them to believe Minnesota would be a good place to start. Boy, I'll say. When you look at what we're seeing as concerning patterns of fraud, we're seeing good cooperation here, especially among our field office working with our federal agents. Edlow said it just makes sense to start in a city where we have a sense of what's going on, or we can try to make an impact, like the immigration fraud for marriages and things of that nature. We knew Minneapolis and St. Paul were a good place to start to get that coordination and to start addressing the red flags we found. Edlow also championed the fraud crackdown operation, which he said is critical to maintaining national security. Yeah, otherwise we won't have any money. At the end of the day, this is what the government should be doing, said Edlow. We have a responsibility to keep this system legitimate. And when you see what has been uncovered by these officers over the past 2 weeks, less than a 2-week period, that's only the tip of the iceberg to what we're actually dealing with when it comes to immigration fraud.
Oh, boy.
That ultimately is, in my opinion, the same thing as a threat to our national security, a threat to public safety, and something that we've got to take seriously. So basically what you're telling me is that the people committing the fraud, there's a fighting chance that they're here fraudulently. Here is Mr. Edlow.
Since September 19th, officers from our Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, working in teams, have conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as part of this operation. What they found should shock all of America. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed.
And our Attorney General, who has been absolutely non-existent in these cases, absolutely useless, is grandstanding and beating his chest because he's going to fight the federal government, which is suing Minnesota for violation of Title IX. And Keith is vowing to protect the trans community. Okay, that's fine. But Keith, you've had much bigger fish to fry, and you've completely ignored it.
Well, he's probably got another coffee shop owner in northern Minnesota to sue for being open during COVID.
Yeah.
We can't be so gullible as to think he's ignoring it just coincidentally, can we?
Of course not. But I heard him today on the news. He's fighting for the trans community.
Right.
So he's fighting for 6'5" guys to pretend they're women and play female volleyball. That's who he's fighting
Right.
for.
And all sorts of fraud has gone on right under his nose. And the most that he's done is say, I'm outraged and shocked by this, and I didn't know they were fraudsters when I shook hands publicly with them.
And that's what was such a shame about the last election, because Jim Schultz, who should be the AG, was edged by what? It was a 50-50 vote, basically, in the last election cycle. For
Joe, this
Attorney General.
immigration fraud, I've read a ton of different versions of this morning. I can't figure out how far back this goes. Have you seen a timeline? Is it back to 2020? Does it go back to 1998? When did this start?
I think it's a great job for our newsman to John. We've lost sight of this. We haven't explored it. Why did Minneapolis become such a destination for Somalians? as opposed to Omaha or Billings, Montana, or Los Angeles, or
hold
Chicago.
on. Maybe I'm approaching this wrong. This only pertains to Somalis?
No, there's a reference to a Ukrainian fellow in here.
But nothing else?
No.
Okay. So maybe my going back to the 90s is in vain. It doesn't go back 25 years.
I think all you have to do, and I feel terribly comfortable saying this, I think all you have to do is go back to the beginning of the Somali arrival in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Which is, what would you say? How many years?
Well, that's what John's working.
Gotcha.
20 years at least.
Yeah.
According to AI, in the 1990s, the U.S. government partnered with voluntary agencies, including many based in Minnesota, like Lutheran Social Services and Catholic Charities, to resettle refugees with pre-existing infrastructure for refugees. The organization helped Somalis with resettlement services. Also, at the time, Minnesota had many openings in meat and poultry processing plants in both rural and urban areas that needed to be filled. The jobs did not require English fluency, making them accessible to newly arrived refugees. Many of the first Somali refugees were initially settled in other states, but later moved to Minnesota for the better employment prospects, with towns like Marshall, St. Cloud, and Wilmer having processing plants.
And it is true.
You can add Faribault to that as well.
It is true that many Somalians are involved in that industry. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they're not defrauding anybody. They
The ones
show
that are
up for
working.
work and do their stuff.
Yeah, the ones that are working are coming here to get jobs and gainful employment, yes.
I wonder how long that'll last when they look at their brothers and sisters in the Twin Cities buying new BMWs every other week with stolen money.
Well, wait a minute. That's how we initially learned all of this. 5 years ago? It was a Somalian turning in a Somalian.
That blew the whistle, 100%.
For that very reason, Joe.
But our Somali brothers and sisters in our outlying cities, they're punching a time clock. They're showing up at the meat factory.
Like the rest of us, get behind the mule in the morning and plow. Here we go.
Although there have been some difficulties.
But, okay, I'm going to bring up the giant elephant in the room. You know what they're also doing? They're voting. They're not here legally. And this has been proven. This is the tip of the iceberg.
Well, we can't conclude that everybody working at Hormel who's a Somalian is here illegally.
Isn't that exactly what you just heard?
No.
Okay.
No. There was legal resettlement of Somalians beginning in the 90s. Then when the word got back to Somalia that, hey, there's some good gigs here, that the inch became a mile was taken. And now you have fraud after fraud after fraud. And what we're learning with this latest is, yes, people are here fraudulently to commit fraud.
And you three are comfortable saying that everything's on the up and up from a voting standpoint.
Well, I don't know how Faribault is handling its voting system.
I'm not talking about Faribault.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the entire state of Minnesota.
What about it?
Jesus.
You're not making yourself clear. If you're going to be at the University of Garage Logic, be clear.
Okay. It was just discovered that there's so many people here that are now here illegally with visa violations and things like that. And you don't think that any of these people have participated in the voting system?
I do believe they have.
Okay, thank you. You answered my question.
Yeah. Let me get back to Marshall, Minnesota.
Okay.
I'm going to assume, perhaps naively, that many of our Somali brothers and sisters in Marshall are there legally. Therefore, they get to vote legally.
Okay.
Well, in fact, for all I know, they've become American citizens. I'm not going euphoria on you. I'm trying to maintain some degree of sanity with the belief that it just can't be as bad as I think it is.
You just heard this is the second specific case in which you heard someone in that position of power saying tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, Joe Thompson says tip of the iceberg, and now this fellow says it.
275 cases out of 1,000 is what they've found so far.
If the problem, Chris, I'm having is if somebody could supply some proof for the vote thing, great. We have proof that these people are committing acts that are illegal. But it's, the voting thing's been investigated to every way possible.
Chris, sitting at the bar, both elbows on the bar, 6 drinks in, take is, why would you want to go vote if you're here illegally? Why would you want to expose yourself
for nefarious purposes? Because we've all seen the extent to which we've been able to defraud the entire
Chris,
system
if you're
of the
here
state.
illegally and all you want to do is keep your head down and earn a paycheck, I don't know. That's just
Okay, I can wrap this up
Kenny
for you.
talking,
I
know what I mean?
I can put this in a neat sentence. The left, as they are now controlling Minnesota, it's not the left. They are a quasi-Marxist socialist group. They're going to win the metro with or without the Somalis. How's that?
That's true.
How's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Outstate is going to win Garage Logic with or without the Somalis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you are.
Okay, but then this. I'm going to throw this at you. We have a sitting congresswoman
Who's the Ma Barker of this gang. Allegedly.
And by the way, it's been pointed out that she may or may not have committed
many acts of
Yeah, I've never really been able to understand that. It's like Chinatown. You're married to your brother, your sister, your brother. I'm your sister. I don't know.
But
what
it was
the
a
hell's-
direct act to commit immigration fraud.
Well, but she
Seems
didn't.
like it.
She didn't need to commit immigration fraud because she had settled here with her family ages ago.
Yeah, that's the problem there.
A 2023 report notes that 89.9% of refugees who had been in the country, Somali refugees, for 20 years or more had become U.S. citizens.
What
So at that
percentage?
point, 89.9%.
They get to vote,
Yeah. So they can vote at that
even if it is for Ilhan.
Yep, everything's on the up and up. Okay. Okay.
Chris, you're categorizing us as being
I know
blinded.
I'm not trying to do that to you three specifically.
I
but
think you might as well.
No, but I just, you guys, there's
You
so
might be right.
at this point in time. How can you trust anything anymore,
Yeah,
especially
there you
in
go,
this
right
state?
there.
Okay,
Yeah,
stop there. Stop there. None of this has to do with an absence of trust. We seem to have gotten into a 5-minute wayside there where we were trying to state some facts. Chief among the facts is the metro's gone. It's been destroyed by Democratic Socialists. They're going to win the race no matter what. Outstate is going to win the Garage Logic race no matter what. Now we came back into the fraud land. That what I just said has nothing to do with fraud land. Now
Free
we're back to
parking.
where it's real fraudy.
Free parking at Fraudland.
Immigration isn't fraudland, or is that different?
We're back to immigration now.
What are the rides at Fraudland?
Yeah, do you go
Is there
on
a log ride?
No, you know what it is? It's a roller coaster.
Right. Hey, kids, come on in. 5 tickets.
You know, somehow indirectly, a lot of this has resulted in a lot of lousy drivers. I'm just setting up the thing here. You know.
You're headed down the right service road of life.
That's right.
Joe.
You got a lot of lousy drivers out there. If you're ever in
A
an
lot of
accident.
blinkers, the left blinker when you're driving in the...
Check my Twitter account.
Yeah, I'm
for
holding,
more.
holding my phone to my nose because my hijab fell down over my eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, don't get in an accident, but if you do get in one, call Bradshaw and Bryant. Personal injury attorneys, insurance companies, and adjusters can be tough to deal with, so having someone on your side. Would I be insensitive or impolite? I'm not trying to be a bad guy or insensitive, but if I saw a Muslim woman fully dressed with the scarf around her head and everything, and it's 98 degrees and humid, would it be unkind if I said to her, wouldn't you be much cooler if you just slid your scarf off for a while? Is that wrong of me?
I think I speak on behalf of all of Gumption County to say, please don't do that.
All right.
Yeah, don't.
I'm sorry, Bradshaw and Bryant. That just popped into my mind.
Probably don't even say it, probably.
Mike will give you a free one.
For 6 consecutive years, Mike Bryant has been recognized as a super. Well, it's so hot, though.
How hot is it?
Well, it's so hot. Take off the thing.
MYOB.
What's that mean?
Mind your own business.
Mike, I do owe you another ad. Mike Bradshaw is one of the top lawyers in this state. Look, Bradshaw and Bryant hopes you're never in an accident. If you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant at 800-770-7008 or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Your case evaluation is free, and please don't be part of a problem. Don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
Here we go.
All right, let's do this.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
Here's a guy that wants to talk about coffee.
I could use, I could use a fresh cup of coffee right now. The freshest cup of coffee. Yeah, the freshest cup you'll ever have. Boy, you know what? Coffee and cigarettes really go together. Too bad I had to quit. The cigarettes, that is. I'll never quit the coffee, especially since I found CustomRoasting.net. Everything they do, Custom Roasting does, is right on target to bring us the best possible cup of coffee. Like, well, you've heard me say it before. They only roast the beans that they have orders for. They keep the coffee fresh at all times. Here's the process. You go to the website. What's the website? I just told it to you. It's CustomRoasting.net. Pick your blend, or if you're unsure, if you're brand new, try the GL Starter Pack. That gives you a nice variety from dark to light. And then you do that, you place your order, they're going to roast up the beans, and then they'll either send it out to you, your place, or if you want to, you can pick it up right there in downtown Buffalo. My latest tip, and I've learned this recently, order a big bag, a 1-pounder. That way you can keep your coffee scoop right in the bag. You don't have to put that coffee in some kind of urn or other thing to use your scoop. Those heavy-duty Ziploc bags are absolutely wonderful. Brew up your first pot from Custom Roasting, and I promise you, you're going to taste the difference right away. First cup, first sip. Order them either whole bean if you want to grind yourself, or ground, and be sure, check out that GL Starter Pack when you go to the website. CustomRoasting.net. A brilliant cup of coffee at a reasonable price. CustomRoasting.net.
You know, we have listeners pretty much anywhere in the world and in this country. We were lucky enough to gain a listener named Krista Livingood. She's in Western Maryland. And she is an interesting GLer. She takes notes during the show. She sent me this summer a complete history of the people who donated to Omar Fateh's House seat.
Interesting.
And anyway, she's in Maryland, and she's astonished at what's happening here. And she writes, be forewarned, I watched Thursday, Friday, Monday, and yesterday's episodes in a binge-type fashion. I admit my head is spinning after listening to several days of hard-hitting questions and answers, as well as discussions of fraud and malfeasance, as well as the visits with Capcella and Garofalo. However, as a non-resident of the state of Minnesota, I find myself feeling appreciative that I'm not experiencing the gut-wrenching roller coaster ride that is your local and state government. People in Maryland think they have it bad? Harumph. I have previously noted that I have not missed a podcast since I began watching about a year ago. I am invested in the unbelievable and unfathomable fraud saga that you guys are experiencing. I find myself describing the details of the Feeding Our Future scandal to friends, coworkers, and family members, clearly expressing my disbelief and dismay at the outrageous ways in which your elected officials have repeatedly left things in disarray. When the most recent autism fraud was mentioned, I thought, there is no way this is happening. And yet here we are. I read through some articles that the Star Tribune has published, and while I remained in disbelief, I had to chuckle at the ridiculous answers that Walz gives regarding the scandal. And then she goes on to talk about some of those. And she said, where's the part she had about Fateh here? Such a long email. I was trying not to read the whole thing. Walz says he's ready for the next challenge, and he argues that life has improved in Minnesota under his tenure. What? It hasn't, and she's pointing out that obviously it hasn't. When he made these statements in December, Walz sounded detached from reality. How can he, in a single sentence, without admonishment of anything that happened, make it sound like he is really in a pinch if he doesn't release the payments? He said, oh, yes, that's right. He said he couldn't stop the fraud payments until there were convictions. That's right. He makes it sound as if he's talking about $100. On Thursday's pod, you asked, what reason could Walz give for running again? You wonder if he believes he is untouchable. You questioned if Walz is linked tangibly to the perpetrators. To hazard a guess at this point, I believe, might be an exercise in futility, as he has managed to remain unscathed despite how monstrous this fraud is. I am beginning to think that he really is the pudding-brained dummy that he touts himself to be. I remain hopeful that the investigation and its outcome are far from over, and I hope that my friends in Minnesota don't lose what sanity you have left. Regarding another matter, I must say anyone who believes that Omar Fateh is not working hand in hand with every one of these Somalis' band of thieves is crazy.
Yep.
Every time a new name is released, like Asha Hassan, I take a few minutes to check it out. She did the homework over the summer. To check it out, do a little research, inevitably find that these Somalis are all connected. I'm hopeful that they'll nail Fateh soon so that someone else can step in and govern. It was a great couple of days of informative programming. Thank you. As always, I appreciate and love all of you, Krista. We're lucky to have listeners as far away as Maryland who get this.
You know what I picture when I see in my mind's eye Krista's living room? A big white wall, names on index cards, and yarn between all these names,
like a novelist with 3x5 cards.
Yeah.
Oh God! Let's talk about I have something else I want to talk to you about. I was going to go on a soliloquy, but I can avoid that. What time is it? I got plenty of time. Well, the state DFL is standing firm. It's on its retraction of the Minnesota mayoral endorsement. Mm-hmm. The Minneapolis mayoral endorsement. That's the one that Fatah's people stole.
Right. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, last week I had a bit of a snit about these schools. It was particularly Robbinsdale, constantly coming up short in a variety of areas, and then automatically, year after year, turning to the taxpayer to make up the difference. You guys remember that?
I sure do. Yeah.
And it happens everywhere. And I got an interesting note from a guy named does he say don't use it? No, I want to use it. Tom Betley up in Aiken. Sometimes voters just have to spend some bucks and run back page ads in local newspapers to make people think. This is what we published on the back page of the Aiken Age today. That was a week ago. I've been hanging on to this. Thought you might enjoy this after your conversation about Robbinsdale schools. So Tom Betley lives in Aiken. Maybe he has kids in the schools. And I suppose like every other school district, Aiken came to the voters and said, well, we're short on our budget. We screwed up our budget. We need more money. Look at the size of this ad. So I'm going to try to read it in some sort of edited fashion. But it starts off, it's addressed to the citizens of the district. Before you cast your ballot for the 2 referendum questions being presented to Aiken Public Schools, please consider the following questions. Why throughout this process has the board not published what the cost to remodel Rippleside versus the cost to build a new school? Several top-ranking school districts continually remodel buildings that are older than Rippleside. All we have been told is that this is not cost-effective to remodel. We are just supposed to accept that the new build is the best solution. Please recall that less than 10 years ago, the district tried to convince voters that building a new high school was the better option and Rippleside could be reconfigured and remodeled. Why the 180-degree change in direction? Well, it goes on and on and on like this. Maybe I can get more selective. By pushing for the referendum vote this November, is the board decreasing the chance of passage by not spending a few more months to present more information and let people ask questions and receive answers? Renters, you will be impacted by this referendum too. The tax increase impacts all properties in the district. Your landlord will probably not absorb the tax increase, but more likely pass that cost on to you. What else? The district has stated that bond interest will offset the cost of demolition of Rippleside if the building is not sold. They have not stated what will happen to the proceeds of the sale of the school and land. Where will these funds be allocated? Are they going to just disappear into the operating budget, or will they be used to pay down the bonds used to finance the new school and thus reduce the burden to taxpayers? Okay, I'll stop. The point is, this guy's on the right track, and the people of Aiken were on the right track.
What was the final outcome? Or are we still waiting for that with the next vote?
We're waiting for the referendum.
Okay.
It concludes. On a final note, it has been stated in board meetings that the district does not receive the school taxes collected on seasonal property. Please contact your legislators and ask them to introduce legislation to change this. Whether it is a yes or no vote for the referendum, please vote. Every vote counts. What I think this is arguing for is to get more tax money. I think I might have overstated how important this is. But why it's important is these are questions to ask no matter which side of the vote you're on. In other words, the lake cabin owners up there might be getting hit up.
And you're saying this is something the people of Robbinsdale should look to for guidance.
I bet Robbinsdale has a community newspaper.
You want me to look?
And that's where you'd put the ad because people probably still get the community newspaper as opposed to the city newspaper. Why don't you put an ad in there that asking all the questions? I would zero in on why are we supposed to continually cover your ass every time you fail to budget correctly?
Okay, so I think you just answered my next question. In your perception, that piece you just read, was that written from the viewpoint that we should fix what we have as opposed to tearing it down and rebuilding?
To tell you the truth, I think that what I just read was campaigning for more money. I think I blew it.
Oh. Well, either way, aren't you? Either way, I think you were in favor of the process, right?
I'm in favor of the process.
Yeah.
The Sun Post covers Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, Crystal, New Hope, Golden Valley, and Robbinsdale.
Well, then,
it's funny, Joe. I've seen that sort of thing that's happening in Aiken play out in the community I lived in.
Everywhere it plays out.
That I live in now. Thankfully, it played out before I was a voter here.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have to give my opinion. I'm glad I didn't, because it really divided the citizens around here.
Well, they make mistakes, and then their fallback default position has been to not suffer consequences for those mistakes, merely to get more money for the taxpayer the taxpayers.
And when I told these folks I don't have an opinion, they reminded me, well, you're a property owner here, so you're going to pay. And I replied, I'm not a voter here, so I'm staying out of it.
Minnesota, are we on the road to becoming California, or have we reached it?
I think we're looking at them in the rearview mirror.
Did you see the email you got from a listener?
I have it. That's the one I was talking about before the show, wasn't it?
Yes.
I can still read it.
Why not?
Well, the Center of the American Experiment on Friday, October 10th, is bringing in Michael Schellenberger, author, journalist, and California truth teller, for a nice evening at the Omni Vikings Lake Hotel in Eagan. Schellenberger sounds the alarm on failed policies around crime, homelessness, and environmental extremism, warning Minnesota not to follow suit of that California model. I hope Schellenberger's words are taken seriously, and they always throw a nice gig. The Center of the American Experiment, great reception and a beautiful dinner and a speech. On this occasion, beautiful views too. Get your tickets today at AmericanExperiment.org.
Wayne Gretzky. They're playing with Wayne Gretzky.
Oh my God.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Hey, how about this?
Let's do this.
Let's talk about Awaken180weightloss.com. Energy and everyday life. If you're looking for a change with your health, then you know what? I can't recommend them highly enough. It's just been, 3 weeks now? And I've already noticed an amazing difference in not only my weight goals, but also my energy. And see, here's the deal. It's a proven weight loss program that's built for absolutely anyone. No medications, no workouts required, and also no fasting. You eat to lose weight, and it's a solution that's worked for over 800,000 people. You get a clear daily plan. There's no complicated tracking or counting. You get one-on-one weekly coaching for accountability and also adjustments. And your coach is going to help you track restaurant menu items for when you decide to go out. It's an at-home program. It's available. It's easy to track and easy to stay on course through the app. It's really, really easy to use, and it's built for any lifestyle. You can still go on vacation. You can still go out, you can still tailgate, you can still have drinks, and you can also still stay on that plan. So, thousands of recipes are available for you so that meals don't feel like diet food. Go online to Awaken180weightloss.com, 180. Awaken180weightloss.com, or call them today at 844-346-1800. And please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Rook, you've been admirably quiet today, and I appreciate that. And I think
I think that will continue.
Thank you.
So now he's going to pack all of it in for the rest of the show.
No, that's why I'm saying this. We're not going to play catch up. We're not going to. Here's John Heidt in the newsroom.
Thanks very much there, Swampfoot. In the news,
I don't have bad smelling feet. That's not my problem. I have structural problem with my feet.
Okay, thanks, hockey helmet.
Are you the Byron Buxton of golf these days?
Yes.
Okay.
In news, DFL leaders in Minnesota released their legislative priorities for a potential special session focused on, they say, preventing mass violence. Republicans, though, are crying foul, saying their input was never considered for this. Governor Walz has called for urgent action on guns and school safety in the wake of the Annunciation Catholic Church shooting, but Democrats and Republicans have been at odds on solutions. Yesterday, Walz, alongside DFL House Leader Zach Stevenson and Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy, unveiled a list of proposed reforms, which include bans on assault weapons, high-capacity magazines, and binary triggers. The 10-point proposal would also expand funding for mental health, school safety, and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension's Behavioral Threat Assessment and Management Team. It would also introduce stricter penalties for violent gun offenses and impersonating a police officer, and strengthen extreme risk protection orders and gun prohibitions against domestic abusers. Some bipartisanship will be needed to pass any of this because the House is deadlocked at 67 Republicans and 67 Democrats. GOP leadership said no deal had been struck between the two parties. They accused Democrats of eschewing the committee process and formulating a special session agenda all on their own.
John, may I introduce? We have the government shutdown taking place. Mm-hmm. In all seriousness, how is that affecting air travel?
It's not really affecting air travel. There may be some longer lines as TSA tries to get through, but I'm not going to serve up the TSA people that have showed up because they're not being paid, but Wednesday's not a big, heavy airport day, so it's a tough gauge. This weekend might be a little more.
So today, one might be too difficult to draw any conclusions.
I wouldn't be alarmed, and I'll be at the airport again tomorrow, and this doesn't be more of the same.
Affect staffing levels at TSA or anything like that, obviously.
No, the TSA people aren't getting paid, but they're required to come in. They will get their back pay. Most of them are pretty good TSA people, the ones that I know, so they will show up and not leave passengers high and dry.
So where the traveling public could get in trouble is if the TSA people said, "The hell with this! If you're not paying me, I'm not working."
If you got a massive walkout, it's going to be it would be long lines and a problem.
And you're not foreseeing that.
I don't anticipate that. This is the first time they've been through.
Back to John Heidt.
Got it.
A person over the age of 21 who used fake documentation to enroll in White Bear Lake Area High School is now in police custody, according to school officials. In a message sent to families, Principal Russell Reitz said the school began investigating after they got reports of a student enrolled in the school who was beyond the legal age for high school. The principal said the school went by its usual enrollment process, which he said is as rigorous as state law allows. The individual, he said, appears to have provided fraudulent documentation and a false identity to enroll. Reitz added the former student has been arrested and is banned from district property.
Okay, I'm having trouble with this story.
Yeah.
Well, help me.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, I guess...
How did this happen?
No, but there's no evidence that he caused any harm to anyone.
Correct?
Correct.
Well, or was he there too short a time for us to know that about him?
Well, there were very
Maybe the guy just wanted to go to high school.
No, there were parents reporting on social media. Don't just dismiss social media, please. I'm answering your question. Various parents were saying that he was engaged with activity with high school girls, and that's a big problem.
Chris, also on TV this morning on two different channels, parents were saying that.
Okay, thank you.
Into the camera.
Yeah.
That's
not cool.
All right.
Star Tribune
I'm
reporting.
on record saying that's not cool.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Noted.
Pretty good limb there.
Thank you.
Star Tribune reporting a follow-up to that accident involving a fire truck in southwestern Minnesota. Several beer cans were found near the scene where the fire truck rolled several times, killing a man and injuring the driver and his son. That according to newly released court documents filed by police. That crash we told you about last week occurred in Wood Lake while the town's fire department was taking part in Lakeview High School's annual homecoming festivities. Rescue crews found 43-year-old Patrick Remiger trapped beneath the truck when they arrived. He died at the scene. The driver, 37-year-old Andrew Van Hecke, and passenger Bo, his 6-year-old son, were injured. They've since been released from the hospital, according to State Patrol Lieutenant Mike Lee. The patrol said it thinks Van Hecke was under the influence of alcohol when the truck crashed on its way to Wood Lake after taking part in those homecoming festivities. Police in nearby Marshall, after getting court permission, collected a sample of blood from Van Hecke while he was being treated for his injuries in a hospital in that city. The sample was sent to the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension for testing to determine his degree of intoxication. The results are pending. He was driving the fire truck north on 490th Street, just north of Cottonwood, when, according to the report, it veered into the right shoulder, hit a mailbox, overcorrected, and rolled several times before landing in a ditch. Charges against Van Hecke are pending. No one in the truck had on any restraint devices, according to the State Patrol. Twin Cities activist Omar Jamal has been released from custody a month after U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents detained him in downtown Minneapolis. According to a post yesterday on Facebook by his attorney, Jamal was released after he had been held for weeks at the Freeborn County Jail in Albert Lea. In late August, ICE agents detained Jamal, who worked as a community service officer for the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office and has served as a vocal advocate for Minnesota's Somali community. Jamal's attorneys filed a lawsuit September 21st in U.S. Minnesota District Court to free Jamal. On Monday, Judge Patrick Schultz said in a court filing that the two parties had reached an agreement and ordered Jamal to be immediately released from custody with supervision and conditions. ICE officials have said Jamal was issued a final order of removal back in 2011. And the plan for a new water park at the Mall of America. Another step closer to reality after clearing a key hurdle. Bloomington City Council and Port Authority approved a tax subsidy for the project Tuesday night. More than a third of the funding for the water park is covered by what's being called public financing through tax increment financing, or TIP, which comes from property taxes generated by the Mall of America.
Oh, okay.
Tax revenue, the mall says, can be used for projects at MOA. Construction on the $430 million water park, which would be called Mystery Cove Water Park at the Mall of America.
You heading to the Cove?
Could begin as early as this spring, but no opening is expected until sometime in 2029.
Could you guys think of a bigger hell on earth than a water park at the Mall of America?
This is what they should name Fraudland. This should be Fraudland at the Mall of America.
Kenny, that's brilliant.
Pretty fraudy.
John, before you send it to Matthew, I was looking for this, as you mentioned, Tim Walz earlier. This is from Representative Harry Niska. Lisa Demuth, response to newly released framework for a Minnesota special session. Governor Tim Walz is pushing a bizarre, unusual process, bypassing committees and rushing bills that absolutely no one has even read. And Harry Niska retweeted that and said this is a pathetic attempt to engineer a predetermined outcome over the right of the public to know what their legislature is doing. Holding up policies that will help keep Minnesotans safe just to push an undefined gun ban is irresponsible. And it's frankly a bizarre way to lead in a state that has been rocked by tragedy multiple times just this past summer. So, Lisa Demuth.
All right.
Demuth.
Remember?
It's like Namath. Namath. Yep, that's what she said.
Sorry, Lisa.
Let's hear from the rookie at this point, huh?
Thank you very much. I love to be those comfortable segues, and I think I'm very comfortable right now. So if you'd like to be comfortable, please sit back and listen to me while I discuss the Freemasons. For a couple of years now on Garage
I think you
Logic.
should have a little more volume.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
All right, for a couple of years now.
Is that the first time you've ever heard Joe say that to you?
It is.
It is.
In 30-plus years. For the last couple of years in Garage Logic, we've been sharing all the great things the Minnesota Freemasons are doing, like donating millions of dollars annually to support cancer research, healthy aging studies, and children's communication disorders. Just to name a few things they're doing. The Freemasons throughout Minnesota working together to make the world a better place by focusing on authentic friendship values, personal growth, helping those in need. If you want to learn more, mnfreemasons.org. They've been talking about the Civility Project, and they've had a couple of these already. And just stay tuned. There are going to be more coming. But remember, this initiative invites the next generation to reclaim civility through real conversations, timeless etiquette, and building community, stuff we've been talking about on Garage Logic for quite some time. More info, mnmasoniccharities.org/civility project. And if you want to learn more, once again, mnmasoniccharities.org/civility project. Thank you.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Before I get back to the news, we've got lots of national and international stuff. But before the news, let me talk to you a little bit about protecting yourself online. Going online without ExpressVPN, it's a bad thing. It's like putting a sign on your front lawn that says, "Hey, I don't lock my door." In other words, it's an open invitation to criminals to come and steal all your stuff. Whenever you connect to an unencrypted network, your online data is not secure. It doesn't take a whole lot of knowledge for someone to hack you. A smart 12-year-old could do it, and all they need is some cheap hardware. Hackers can make up to $1,000 per person selling personal info on the dark web. ExpressVPN stops hackers from stealing your data by creating a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. ExpressVPN, really easy to use. All you have to do, even you could do this, Joe, just fire up the app and click one button, and you're protected.
I can click one button.
That's right. It works on all your devices, phone, laptop, tablet, and more, so you can stay secure. I use ExpressVPN because, I like to use my computer in various places that may not have an encrypted network, like a clinic, hotel, and ExpressVPN helps me to keep my location hidden from anyone trying to hack my info. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/GL. That's expressvpn.com/GL and find out how you can get up to 4 extra months free. expressvpn.com/GL.
You know who I heard left the front door unlocked on a daily basis?
Hey, let's go here, Johnny.
Okay, in the news, the federal government we've been talking about shut down at midnight after Congress failed to approve a short-term funding bill triggering the furlough of about 750,000 federal employees each day and disrupting operations across some agencies. A vote to swiftly end the shutdown failed this morning as Democrats in the Senate held firm to their demands to fund health care subsidies that President Trump and the Republicans have cut. Republicans had proposed a stopgap funding bill to maintain government funding mostly at 2025 levels through November 21st, while Democrats wanted to reverse Medicaid cuts and extend Affordable Care Act tax credits that are set to expire this year. The Senate failed yesterday to pass either of the two competing measures before this morning's vote. Here's what will happen. You've already heard about this. Some TCS agents will continue to work without pay. So will military personnel and other essential workers. Non-essential offices like the Labor Department and national parks are closed or operating at limited capacity. Separately funded programs like Social Security and the Postal Service continue unaffected or with just minor administrative disruptions. This will mark the 15th shutdown since 1980, with the last major one lasting 35 days back in 2018 and 19. Senators are scheduled to return to keep voting on proposals to try and reopen the government. Supreme Court has temporarily blocked President Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, maintaining a critical firewall for now around the central bank's ability to make decisions without interference from the White House. That means Cook can stay in her job, according to the Supreme Court decision this morning, until they hear oral arguments in the case in January. President Trump yesterday signaled he would make greater use of the U.S. military to quell disturbances in Democratic-run cities across the U.S., warning of a war from within and comparing domestic threats to foreign enemies. Those comments were delivered in a speech to almost 800 generals, admirals, and senior enlisted advisors who had traveled to a military base in Quantico, Virginia from around the world on short notice on the orders of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The president's remarks faced immediate pushback from several sectors. The reason? The Posse Comitatus Act, which bars federal troops from taking part in civilian law enforcement except when expressly authorized by law. In other words, use of the military against civilians, according to critics, is unconstitutional. U.S. government started phasing out paper checks for most programs yesterday.
Ooh.
That's going to be tough to play office.
That's bad for me. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't get any federal checks, so.
The change, which was initiated through an executive order signed by President Trump in March, will affect recipients of benefits, including Social Security, supplemental security income, and tax refunds. Trump's Republican administration argues the shift of all payments and collections to electronic methods is designed to protect taxpayers from fraud and stolen checks, also to speed up processing and cut costs. Advocates say they fear the shift will hurt marginalized Americans who lack access to digital service and may not even know the phase-out is coming. Nearly 400,000 Social Security and SSI recipients get their checks through paper checks. That amounts to less than 1% of the 70.6 million retirees, disabled people, and children who receive Social Security benefits.
John, you mentioned Hegseth gathering in generals from all over the world, and then President Trump also addressed them. Are you aware he did about 5 minutes on his signature, how beautiful he thinks his signature is.
Oh,
he
boy.
He riffed on that for about 5 minutes, how it's a beautiful signature. And then he did another 5 minutes on stairs, taking the stairs. And he thought Obama was really good at it because he went bippity bop bop ba-doom boom up and down the steps. And he said, I like to go slow. There's no hurry for me. And it just, he did a whole, it's like a stand-up comedian. Did a whole segment. Maybe you could find it. I don't know. He did a whole segment on steps and how you should take the step. I like the railing. I like to hold the railing.
Yeah, you should.
know.
You should.
I mean, people have fallen down on steps.
Yes.
I don't want to fall down. And Obama was really good on steps.
Downstairs every day. Every day the guy's falling downstairs.
Stop. Stop. This is the generals now assembled from all over the world. I wonder if that was a security problem. Now turn this up.
I will turn it up as loud as I have it. Okay.
Yeah.
They looked at him falling downstairs every day. Every day the guy's falling downstairs. He said, "It's not our president. We can't have it." I'm very careful. You know, when I walk downstairs like I'm on stairs, like these stairs, I walk very slowly. Nobody has to set a record. Just try not to fall, because it doesn't work out well. A few of our presidents have fallen, and it became a part of their legacy. We don't want that. You walk nice and easy. You don't have to set any record. Be cool. Be cool when you walk down, but don't pop down the stairs. So one thing with
keep going.
You know,
That's
that was
Obama.
it. That was the clip.
Then he got into Obama. He went bippity bop bop bop. You know, boo 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 down.
You know
the
what
steps.
that is? That's me and Don sitting in the fish house, waiting for the bobber to go down.
Yeah.
Can I
just having a casual conversation?
Can I attempt to help give a little context?
There isn't any.
Well, no, but he was talking about Biden falling down the
I'm
stairs of
aware of
Air
that.
Force One.
I'm
and
aware of that.
He was making the analogy of how weak the military's perception used to be under his administration.
Well, it's an analogy that failed to grasp my attention.
You seem fascinated by it.
I'm fascinated by a guy stopping what he's doing to riff on taking the steps for 5 minutes.
Fascinated by taking a small little snippet of a quote.
I love it.
Delivering it to your listeners with no background whatsoever, therefore changing the purpose and the reason for the quote.
Happen to see how he was trolling Hakeem Jeffries on social media?
Well, he put a sombrero on him.
And then Jeffries was very upset about that. So then on the next one, it was an entire mariachi band. Now, that's a guy that's Royce level trolling.
No, I told you, if you don't laugh, you'll go nuts, because there's a lot of humor in this guy. And if you don't laugh, you're cooked.
AOL ended its dial-up service yesterday.
No!
Yep.
Joe, what are you going to do for email?
I didn't. I get my mail in the mailbox.
Got it.
More than 35 years they ended it after. The decision, announced last month, marks the end of a service once synonymous with accessing the internet. When the company, then called America Online, launched dial-up in 1989, it was among the first. The approach used a modem to convert computer data into audio signals, which could then travel over phone lines. The dial-up tone, it was everywhere in the 1990s. In fact, it was, remember the movie You've Got Mail? Well, that was based on that. At its height in 1999, AOL boasted over 18 million subscribers with a market capitalization of $222 billion.
There you go.
When you got that sound, you were in?
That means you got an email.
Oh.
You got mail.
Oh.
Can I please play the... sorry, Johnny, are you done with that story?
Yeah.
Hakeem Jeffries had a meltdown on MSNBC over Donald Trump's meme dressing him up as Hispanic. 47 doubled down and posted yet another one as he was talking on MSNBC.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican...
Boy, he really doesn't have a filter, does he?
Nope.
Electronic arts.
I mean,
Jesus.
We are fighting to protect the health care of the American
Did
people.
Hakeem actually hear that?
No, he was on the air complaining about the fact that Trump had merely placed a sombrero on his head.
Right.
So then he took that clip from the complaint.
Trump did,
and then put the mariachi band in the background. And Don's playing each one of the instruments.
Well, Trump didn't do it. He's got
a team that's doing it.
He's got people that do this.
But it was posted to his social
God
media
almighty,
account.
it's just a hell of a time to live in.
Of the American.
I'd feel
We
better.
live in legendary times.
We really do.
This is something else.
I wish I'd lived long enough to tell grandkids if I ever have any. But
yeah.
They'll get to work already, will ya?
We probably won't be here by then anyway. Electronic Arts, the U.S. video game giant behind Madden, NFL, and EA Sports, announced yesterday it'll be taken private in a $55 billion all-cash deal with Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund and 2 American private equity firms.
Wow.
$55 billion.
Let's sell GL to the Saudis.
Wait,
Make some money.
No, you fraud.
Yeah,
You've been ripping Live Golf for the past year and a half.
I've come full circle.
Okay, now
I'm all right with it.
By let's, do you mean you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
You guys continue on.
In
I'm
that
selling.
case, no, yeah.
The Saudi fund.
I don't think Ginny'd go for it.
No.
Probably not.
I don't think we'd go for it.
Yeah.
The deal is subject to approval by the U.S. Committee on Foreign Investment. Lawmakers previously raised concerns about Saudi investments in, as Chris mentioned earlier, American Gulf. It's a big whoop-de-doo with comedians, too, right now. Have you seen that? A bunch of them are playing a Saudi Arabian, some sort of comedy festival. And
aren't the ones doing that, though, Johnny? Aren't they getting, not blackballed, that's too strong of a word, but aren't they...
That's what I was getting at. There's a big kerfuffle because other comedians are going after him.
Are there any
strongly.
Saudi jokes?
Well, that's, You can't tell anything, I mean.
You get in trouble.
Yeah, you say the wrong joke, you get beheaded.
You should ask Salman Rushdie about that.
Probably
question.
some camel jokes, maybe.
It's a bunch of big shots, too. It's Burr and it's Dave Chappelle, and there's a list of about 15 of them. And other comedians are going after him pretty strongly, some comedians. Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer committed yesterday to lowering U.S. drug prices and investing $70 billion in domestic manufacturing. Several of its medications will be sold at an average 50% discount on a forthcoming federal website, which is called Trump RX. The announcements follow the Trump administration's September 29th deadline for drug makers to peg U.S. prices to the lowest prices across developed countries. I said across.
Yeah. John, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you taking advantage of the weather to take care of your garage door? Is she making noises? Is she falling apart? If you need a new door, get a hold of Precision Garage Door. They have models of doors for every budget, and right now for GLers, $100 off a single door, $200 off a double door. They send out a garage door designer. You hash it out. Think what that does. It increases the value of your home. It can save energy because it'll fit better and provide better security because you can marry it to all the security devices you have in your home. If you love your door and you're completely satisfied with it, you don't need a new door. They've got a deal called the Noisy Door Tune-Up Special for $149. That includes a 25-point safety inspection and diagnostic garage door tune-up. Don't wait till it's 20 below to do this. Just get it done now if she's acting up. Get ready for the cooler weather ahead. Annual maintenance reduces future wear and breakdowns of your door. Book online at precisiondoormn.com or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate or book a Noisy Door tune-up special.
Yep. All right.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
If you happen to be in the market for a sickle mower, I should suggest my friends at North American Banking Company. Anakana, you want to know why?
Yeah.
Why?
Banking done differently. loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities because they are independently owned and operated. They are not sent out of state. No. Your problems will be solved quickly. And you know what? If you're a farmer, you can expand your business quickly and easily with confidence. And that's the feeling that you get when you deal with North American Banking Company. And they have 6 wonderful Twin Cities locations to serve you. It's Roseville and 50th and France. Those are the home of yours truly. But also Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and also Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other big national banks. Whether you're looking to buy a home, perhaps finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car that you've been dreaming about, they will be able to help you out. So check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Joe?
2 examples.
2 examples.
Of reporting isn't what it used to be.
Of reporting isn't what it used to be. That was 2 different voices there, wasn't there?
An Iowa teen has died. This is not a funny story, but it's an example of reporting not being what it used to be. A kid named Carson Ryan, 17, was hunting squirrels outside Iowa City when gunfire from someone in his group struck him. He was mistaken for a squirrel by a member of his hunting party. And nowhere in the story is there any explanation offered for that? How could a guy be mistaken for a squirrel?
Well, there's a couple of things to deduce. If he's small game hunting, squirrel hunting, probably they're using .22 rifles, right?
Okay.
And if he, reporting isn't what it used to be. Was he dead on arrival?
Incident took place at 3 p.m. He died from his injuries at the Iowa Healthcare Medical Center in Iowa City, so I suppose there was some time when he remained alive.
Assume that he was hit in the head or in an artery.
He was hit in the head.
Okay. So he's sitting there in a tree or by a tree, half concealed. His body is concealed, turns his head, and, his buddy, who's a moron and didn't take the hunting safety course, pulled the trigger, not knowing exactly what he was shooting at. I mean, it's one of the basic number 1 rules. Know your target and what's beyond.
And the other example.
Matthew, you're smiling. You took that class along with your son, Gabe.
We certainly did, and they did. They were very clear. When you have a firearm, shotgun, any type of, you need to know. If you have it out, you intend to shoot something, but know what you're shooting at.
Yep.
And I recommend anybody, whatever kind of firearm gun you take that course, because you get to go shoot every single gun on the last day. All sorts of different rifles, firearms. That was the coolest thing I've ever done.
I live by those rules every time I pick any firearm up.
Yeah.
I've been sent an article that appeared in the Minnesota Daily on September 26. And we learned that Marcy Park, which is on 11th Avenue Southeast, is going to get a new name as soon as November. The Minneapolis Parks and Recreation Board held a public meeting to rename Marcy Park to Dinky Park because it's near Dinkytown.
Okay. Is that the reason? Okay. Dinky. That's what they're saying anyway.
Did we end up at Dinky Park one night?
Neighborhood nonprofit East Bank Partnership surveyed Marcy Park residents in 2020 to figure out new names. The names that stood out in surveys and meetings were Dinky Park, Dinkytown Park, Gopher Park, 11th Avenue and Southeast Park. The Neighborhood Association sent out over 6,000 mail-in ballots to vote on their favorite name. The winning name was Dinky Park. All right. This is according to the neighborhood nonprofit executive director, Chris Lautenschlager. At Thursday's meeting last week, Lautenschlager said Dinky Park is a familiar name for the students. Okay, I want to cut to the chase here. According to the East Bank Neighborhood Partnership website, the park used to be named after Marcy Arts Elementary School. The school is now located in the Holmes neighborhood Holmes Park neighborhood, but is still named Marcy School. Lautenschlager said people still confuse the park with the school in the Holmes Park neighborhood. So when you make a request of the park board workers to clean the graffiti off a basketball court, they'll go to Holmes Park thinking that it's Marcy Park, when in reality they need to be going to Marcy Park in Dinkytown. So this sounds confusing to us, the Minneapolis Park Board, so they're changing the name. Here we go. Marcy Park is a historical reference to William Learned Marcy, the U.S. Secretary of State under President Franklin Pierce for 4 years. Marcy helped draft the Ostend Manifesto in 1854, a document that detailed the reasons for the U.S. acquisition of Cuba. University alum Derek Eichholz lived near Marcy Park for a few years. At the hearing, Eichholz said he wants the name changed because he does not want the area to be associated with Marcy's legacy.
What?
I remember looking the person up and not finding anything about it, but instead something much worse, Eichholz said. As a resident, that this park does not need to be named this, and it should be named something better that's more reflective of the area and the students. Hirsch Berman, an alumni advisor at Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity, said he wanted the name changed not for historical reasons, but to have an accessible park for the students. Okay, I can't find out anything wrong that this Marcy fellow did. So, but he came up with some belief that the U.S. should acquire Cuba, which I don't believe the U.S. ever did it? We've never owned Cuba.
No.
Have we? Staff? Anyone?
I just looked it up. It said no.
But did he also... He was one of the original authors of the Port Huron Statement, the first draft, not the compromise second draft.
And what
right?
was that?
Well, you'd have to ask the dude.
No, the U.S. has never formally owned Cuba as a territory or possession, but it did occupy the island militarily and exerted significant control over its affairs in the early 20th century.
What's that got to do with Marcy?
You asked if we ever owned
Well, here's
Cuba.
the problem. A,
Why am I
that's
in
just lousy reporting. We don't learn anything. And B, I predicted this when they changed the name from Calhoun to Bede Makaska.
Mm-hmm.
I said your work will never be done. If that's the way you're going to look at life, your work will never be done. And the fundamental flaw in changing the name of Lake Calhoun was the intimation that the lake was named for Calhoun because he owned slaves. That's not the facts.
Right.
They named the lake for his soldiers named the lake Calhoun because he was a primitive surveyor out here, and he was a hail fellow good met, and he probably had a drink with him, and they said, let's just name this thing Lake Calhoun.
As a condition of withdrawing its troops and recognizing Cuba's formal independence in 1902, the U.S. forced the new Cuban government to adopt the Platt Amendment. This amendment gave the U.S. the right to intervene in Cuban affairs to preserve its independence and maintain a stable government. It also required Cuba to lease the Guantanamo Bay area to the U.S. for a naval base. Many historians view the Platt Amendment as having made Cuba a de facto U.S. protectorate until the amendment was repealed in 1934.
Yeah, well, she's a commie country, so the commies moved in.
My theory is it was just a name checked off a list that was provided to them by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Much like the way Meriwether Lewis and Jimmy Jam Clark named rivers in the West. They had a list of names that were given to them by Jefferson, and they'd come across a river, and no matter
give me
what
an example.
Gallatin, the Gallatin River, Albert Gallatin, the Jefferson, the Clark, the Madison.
George.
What I didn't get, because you mentioned this before the show, so of course I get curious and have to go look.
Hoping you did.
He apparently never was in Minnesota or had any connection whatsoever with Minnesota. That's why I was.
We couldn't come up with a local guy to name the park after?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
Marcy.
I also found a phrase I'd never heard before looking him up. He was known as a dough-faced. Do you know, like D-O-U-G-H?
Was he a kind of a puffy guy?
That's a World War
No.
I term, isn't it?
Yeah, the doughboy.
Dough face. There were Northerners who were sympathizers with the South during all the kerfuffles from the
we had to find slavery somewhere
1840s
here.
to 60s, and he was considered a dough face, which I've never heard.
Well, I never heard that one either. I've heard of doughboys.
Northern people with Southern sympathies during that era.
Such, if we were going to name the boulevard in front of Garrison Keeler's former garage after you, the Joe Souchere Boulevard, why would people in the future change it? What is hidden in your closet?
Where do you start?
What do we not know about you now that we will know about you in 100 years from now?
He was in jail.
Something about your feet, maybe?
that I did own slaves.
You did
in 2025.
How did you do that?
Yeah.
They're all working on the show.
It wasn't well known. It wasn't well known.
It's all us.
Yeah. You wouldn't find anything. I'm dull.
Okay. Dan, what was it? No, not Dan Quayle. Who was it that said that? Follow me anywhere. John, who was that?
Gary Hart?
Oh, Gary Hart, who got caught.
Gary Hart, yep.
Because they were following him.
Yeah.
Who was Gary Hart? Was that Fawn Hall? Or was that Ollie North?
I think Fawn Hall was Ollie North.
There were so many
They
of
got
them.
married.
They just got married, yeah.
Yep.
Those were innocent times, weren't they?
They were. Only because they come to us all the way from Barcelona, Spain.
Yeah, hurry up. I got to get moving.
Wow.
Jeez.
Thanks for coming in. Yeah.
This was from the Traveling Limans at worldwidewaftage.com. Well, it was on this day.
October 1st.
In 1700. On his second visit to the region, Frenchman Pierre Charles Lesueur arrived at the mouth of the Blue Earth River. At this site, he built Fort Les Houlières, named for a chemist in France who had told Lesueur that the blue clay found at this location on his first trip was rich in copper. Lesueur traveled with 2 tons of the clay to New Orleans, leaving 19 men to continue operations. Further testing showed that the clay contained no copper, and when Lesueur returned to the Blue Earth River, the fort had disappeared. In 1907, A. Mitchell would find on his farm 17 decapitated skeletons and many arrowheads about 1.5 miles from the fort's site. The bodies had been arranged in a straight row, buried in European fashion, leading to the conclusion that the 2 men who had survived the attack and buried their comrades. Their fates were unknown. But that was a confusing one, wasn't it?
I'll say.
One of the coolest scenic overlooks in Lesueur, by the way.
Is what?
The city he's named after.
Lesueur is a scenic overlook?
Well, it's a city. It's just.
No, I'm aware of that. Is there a?
It's very, very cool. It overlooks the Minnesota River Valley.
From anywhere in the city. I mean, is there an overlook spot that says historical?
You're talking about the Jolly Green Giant?
Yeah, that area, Ken. Yes, I'm talking. The boys and I got to take that in a couple weeks ago after we ate at that very fancy Italian restaurant in Lesueur, Pizza Ranche.
Oh,
on this day,
very nice,
October 1st
in 1847.
So dumb.
Art Godfrey. No, I'm being told Ard Godfrey.
Good one.
Arrived at St. Anthony Falls to build his sawmill. His house, Minneapolis's first frame building, still stands at the corner of University and Central Avenues. Does it really, do you think?
It does? Really? And Central?
Well, you don't know how old these days in history are.
But true.
Yeah. Hold on. It should be on Google Maps.
Wait, we do, though. Because you say the date. We should know how old it is.
Well, that's true, but...
That's the whole point of the bit.
Well, I know, but I mean, it might not have been revised.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And Joe, do you think anybody got your first joke there that's under the age of 70?
No one. No.
Hey now.
On this day...
Joe, today is October 1st.
Well, on this day in 1908, at the urging of Dr. Richard O. Beard, the Board of Regents for the University of Minnesota authorized a nursing curriculum, the first college-associated school of nursing in the country.
Joe, I'm looking at the Ard Godfrey House right now.
Good.
I can confirm you are correct.
Good.
It's still there. Cool.
The school, that would be the nursing school, opened March 1st, 1909 with Bertha Erdman as director. I'm seeing a big girl.
Yeah, Bertha Erdman?
I'm seeing a stout woman.
Yeah.
Bertha Erdman.
Bertha always used, when you see Bertha, you
Big Bertha.
Big Bertha, right.
A plump wife and a big barn never did a man any harm.
It's true. On this day,
October 1st,
in 1929, the first celebration of Kalaki Day in Montgomery occurred.
Every year.
No.
Every year.
No.
It's this day in history.
We are not pronouncing it that way.
How do you
It's
pronounce
pronounced Kalachki.
Oh.
Every year.
Grandma, God rest your soul.
There ain't
I'm
no
so sorry.
A kalachki is a Czechoslovakian pastry filled with fruit.
Viola Kuktavi is spinning in her grave right now.
At first, the festival was only a day long, but in 1975, would she have been there?
Oh, heavens, yes.
In Montgomery?
Absolutely.
In 1975, the celebration was scheduled for late July and extended into Kalaki Day.
Kalachki.
Oh, yeah. Complete with music, dancing, art displays, and a parade, and then they had Kalaki stands.
Damn it, now I got to make a stop on my way home. I want a Kalachki today.
Chris, every year.
Every year.
You correct him on
Every year.
Every year.
It's, by the way, shout out to Montgomery. That's still one of the best small town festivals.
They got a view. They got a view, too.
Chris, do you ever get the thought that maybe the joke is on you?
Yeah, he's probably trolling me, isn't he? Yeah. Which one's your favorite, by the way? Grandma would always make apple butter kalachkis
Yeah,
for me.
you could go bleep yourself with the butter. Was there a
wow? Give me the butter.
Was there a raspberry kalaki?
She would make whatever kind you wanted.
I would like a raspberry kalaki.
There was that. She loved poppy seed. I can't stand poppy seed.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not having a poppy.
Overrated.
Very popular, though, at the Elko Flea Market.
Anything like
peach. You could do
strawberry.
Actually, she would make peach, prune, and alfalfa.
There was this guy in a German prison.
Hey, I'm trying to do
this. This is a true story.
He would make great apfelstrudel for the sergeant. His name was LeBeau.
LeBeau, sure, I remember.
He'd make really good apfelstrudel.
Yeah. He used to wear berets. Yeah, he wore berets all the time.
Yes, prisoner of war.
On this day,
October 1st,
in 1946, author Tim O'Brien was born in Austin. His novel of the Vietnam War, going after Kalachki, would win the National Book Award in 1979.
Isn't he better
I
known
thought it
for
was Things They Carried.
The Things They Carried is what he's known for.
That's what I thought.
That's the one I read.
That's the one I read. On this day,
October 1st,
in 1992. See how we're getting closer to the current
It's
era?
like a chronologically set up here.
That's right.
Big word for me.
That's right. The Minnesota Care Health Program, benefiting uninsured, low-income Minnesota residents, went into effect. Minnesota Care was financed by state tax dollars, provider taxes, and premiums paid by enrollees. We still have that? I think so.
Yeah, we do.
Minnesota Care, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
On this day,
October 1st.
That's right. It was on this day in 2007. Smoking was officially banned in restaurants, bars, and various other indoor establishments throughout Minnesota.
Your kitchen place smoking in Minnesota is not allowed.
That is when our freedom died.
Did Case, he did say that before every game in the Metrodome, didn't he?
Smoking, no smoking in the Metrodome. And then everybody would cheer like that's a...
Yeah,
that's typical
thank
Minnesota.
God.
Yeah. Happy to pay more for a better Minnesota.
On this day in Minnesota sports history.
What happened?
October 1st.
Well, it was on this day in 1961. The Vikings' first year. The Vikings lost at Baltimore to the Colts in the last seconds of the game.
Is that Johnny Unitas?
First loss to the Colts and probably the Vikings' first heartbreaking loss.
Of many to come.
Of generations to come.
The old purple people eaters.
Boy, this is baseball. It's pretty important. On this day,
October 1st,
1967,
We clinch a pennant?
That was the sad part, Chris. That's why this is called.
That's true.
Sports
This
disappointment.
is where I was going to say, this is where we lost to the Red Sox.
The Twins needed one win to win the American League. They went into Boston for a 2-game series and got swept.
Oof. We had a good club.
A nice club.
Yeah.
Very nice club.
Jim Cott got hurt pitching in the first game, I think, of the series. Had a great game going into the 4th inning. Got hurt, had to take him out, and everything went to hell.
And all the boys' daubers were probably down at that point.
Baseball playoffs, full slate yesterday and today.
You're missing a giant one, by the way.
What?
On this day in 1981.
I don't have it here.
This was your last game. Once there was a ballpark.
The last game ever?
I saw this via Dan Minnesota.
The other day on this day in history, we had the last night game ever.
Yeah, but this was the last one game ever. I thought it was today, was it not? I know we're running really late.
Well, first of all, you'd be really wrong. 81, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Dan would be right. He's got all that stuff.
Dan, I'm sorry
this
if I
has
screwed
nothing
up
to do
your
with
time.
Dan. This is Reavers bringing this up.
I know, but Dan is the chronological, what would you call it?
Dan gets it out of a book. If it ain't in there, Dan ain't going with it.
Oh, you know what? I apologize. It was retweeted by somebody else, but it was on September 30th. So it was yesterday, which we still did not mention. It was the last game ever at Met Stadium for the Minnesota Twins. Sorry, Dan. I didn't mean to screw up your timeline. Is that going to do it?
Yep.
Rook, you calling it a day?
I got to do a shot.
See you, Rook.
Hey, let's do us a solid. Hit subscribe on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. That's right, Garage Logic. We've got a YouTube channel, and you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. And on that channel, you can see full segments. You can see video shorts. You can see behind-the-scenes footage. It's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube. And search Garage Logic on all of our extremely active social media channels, which includes X, Instagram, and also Facebook. And sign up for that Daily Logician email. It comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up today at garagelogic.com.